was I don't want to talk about this too much, but if you can recall the year 2020 for a moment, yes, it was a challenging time. But it was also a time of grand divine shifting and, yeah, cataclysmic divine realignments. Okay, to use some big words. Um, so I think it was the end of, yeah, it was the end of 2020. And for me, I moved out of the city and I'm on the west coast of Canada. And I was choosing to live out of my vehicle at that time, which was a dream I had for a while. Um, and yeah, should talk about that in another movie, in another another movie, in another video. I'm sorry, I'm getting static cling from my hair. It's driving me nuts. And yeah, so it was like the best of times and also challenging. Yeah, because living out of your vehicle uh, has challenges, but it's also exciting, and you also get to pee out in nature. And there were some really good aspects about that, and it felt freeing. And I had my stuff in storage, and someone was renting my place back in the city, and so I didn't have to pay rent. I didn't charge her more. I just came out even because she was in a difficult situation as well. So just came out even, and so that was the end of 2020. I had lots of questions for my life. You know, as you get older, I think I still had the same personality when I was like in my early 20s. Like, oh my gosh, what's happening with my life? Am I doing it? Am I not going to do it? Have I done it? Have I failed? Have I already failed everything? Like, okay, just calm the freak down. You're still young. Um, and I tell myself that now too, because, I'm 40 now, which is I don't really understand those numbers, but I'm not 70, I'm not 80, I'm not 200, I'm not 600. If you've looked up some biblical characters. So I'm actually super young. We are young. And also, I partner with time and I feel young. I mostly feel young. So it was the end of 2020. I was wondering, like, I think I was around 30, what was that, like 34 at the time, 35. And I had questions about my life. And my income wasn't really where I wanted it to be. And I wanted to live in community, but that can be hella challenging. And you need to kind of go about that the right way. And when you're making these life changing decisions, putting the right energy out there and not just accepting the first thing that comes along. Like there can be a feeling of desperation. Like I need to find, like I don't want to live in the city anymore. It has to be something else. Um, and like my bank account looks like this, so I have to make this and this. That feeling can lead us to make, like it can push us forward with a fire that helps us make decisions that are actually good. And also, it can give us this feeling of desperation, and sometimes we don't make the right decision because we're like not doing it um, with the right vibe. So for me, I was aware of that on one level. I'm aware of it on like a higher level, if we want to use that phrasing now. Um, and there was some like housing options that came to me at that time. Sorry, it's so weird looking at yourself on the camera. Doesn't matter how many lives I do. You're still staring at your own face thinking, where did that wrinkle come from? Um okay, so I'm just gonna love myself. I love myself. I love the way I look. Okay. Um and so yeah, I was asking myself questions like, what do I really want? And what am I willing to do to get it, and what am I willing to let go of to have it? Um, and yeah, and so that brought me into a time of living in community, in a shared house, with lots of windows on 3.5 acres. Um, there were challenges in that. There was a rat situation because we were out in the countryside. But there was goats and there was sheep nearby, and for me, that's something I requested. Like when I at the beginning of 2020, I made a vision board on Pinterest actually, and I was saying the things that I wanted. I was like, I want to be closer to sheep. Sheep make me happy, so I want to be closer to sheep. Um, and like, why not some goats? And I want to be able to have pets again. And I'd like to live on a property where I'm not looking at the house next door, like staring 3 feet away at their wall. And I want to be around more community, and I want to, um, yeah, basically those things. And so I made my vision board, and I added a bunch of stuff. I was like looking at pictures. Like there was one picture I added. It was just like me like playing a board game in a really hippie, cool looking van with like a nice looking person. And for me, that just represented like meeting new people, having connection, and like having time to like play a board game and do something fun. Um, and that exact scenario happened on that vision board. Like 85, 90%, I don't know, somewhere between 80 and 90% of like what I put on that Pinterest vision board that year came true. And I did that at the beginning of 2020 before we knew what was happening. And 2020 gave me so much of what I was asking for. Um, and in giving me what I was asking for, it gave me a lot of challenges. Like, is it easy to live with 6 other people in a shared house who you didn't choose to live with? And it keeps rotating out because there's challenges with the house itself and everything. Um, that will teach you some things about yourself. They say that people learn a lot about themselves in the first year of marriage. And I'm saying that in a traditional sense because like you get married and then move in, but it's not always that way now. But um like the first year of marriage, living in the same house together, you have all these things to learn, and then like all these things about yourself and your childhood and the way you think people should do things and da da da. It comes up for you, and you get to, hopefully discuss it well and self reflect well and communicate clearly and continue to love each other and adjust and tweak. And so when you're living with housemates, that's kind of like constantly happening, but you don't necessarily have the commitment and that kind of love action happening. So it can be difficult. But the people that I was sharing housing with, they were community minded people who did have a lot of love, and they wanted to be self reflective, and they were learning and growing. Um, and so was I. And I was triggered a lot, and I like saw myself do some actions. I was like, okay, so good to know. I don't want to be this kind of person. um, and so it was a learning process. So why I'm sharing this, yeah, the title of this video is Failing How to Try Again. So maybe I'm the only one who's going to watch this, and I'll come back and watch it a year from now, or maybe a whole bunch of people are going to see it, hundreds of thousands of people. What I want to say is that I have tried different things in my life. I've been like, oh, okay, I'm going to take this course that's going to solve all my problems. It's going to be great. Um, and then, like, that doesn't really happen the way I thought it would, because partially it's dependent on me, but maybe the course didn't really live up to what it was saying it would. Um, or, like, things shift in your life and then you don't have the time you thought you would. But I have like tried multiple different things, and it's always a learning journey. I have also, followed different coaches online and subscribed to their emails. I'm a entrepreneur. I I have an ability to like take risks and be like, okay, let's try. And some risks are actually really small. Like, okay, I'm going to sign up for their email. If they spam alarm me, I'm going to unsubscribe. But maybe they're going to send me really good emails, and it's going to like introduce me to this other person and introduce me to this new idea, and it's going to be awesome. It's a risk. You don't know, but it's a small risk. So I've taken many risks like that, and I just, it's like I try again. Okay, I did get spam alarm. I didn't like the way that person was marketing. Maybe there was a real bro marketing, masculine, or just not even masculine, but like a toxic masculine marketing thing that I didn't like. And I was like, I had higher hopes for that, but okay, that didn't work out. Unsubscribe. Let's let's move on. My algorithm, I feel like, is really beautiful right now. Um, I'm just like, watching videos and purposely, intentionally liking what I like and commenting where it comes naturally out of a place of growth and not like anger or frustration. um, and basically, when you're doing that with your algorithm on social media, you are telling it, like, this is what I want to focus on. This is what I'm interested in. This is what I like. So if we're constantly commenting on things that we don't like, we're just like, oh my gosh, like, how could you? Like, I don't want to, blah, blah, blah. Then you're telling the algorithm, I love being frustrated and angry and seeing all these people that cause me these frustrating, angry feelings. And I want to keep interacting with that energy. I want to keep focusing on that. And maybe there's a reason that you need to do that right now. Maybe you need to work through something and eventually you're going to self reflect and be like, oh, actually, I don't want to interact with that anymore. And I forgive it and I release it and I am want to interact with a different energy and invite a different energy to be with me. Um, so yeah, so I feel like my social media algorithm is pretty good right now. Um, and sometimes I'm following someone for a couple of months and I'm just like really getting good stuff from them. Just like, thank you so much. This is awesome. I really needed to hear that. I really needed to see that. Excuse me. I really needed to be reminded of that. And then one day I'm just like, you know what? I don't need to keep seeing this message over and over again. I feel like I've grown from this, or I no longer find this funny, or I just don't need this anymore. And I just say like, thank you, and I unfollow. And I think that's the beautiful thing about life is that some people are meant to be in our lives for a short time, some for longer, some for much longer. I'm thankful that my parents are still in my life and that we still talk and communicate. Um, I'd say those are my two best friends my entire life, been 40 years now, 40 years plus 9 months. And yeah, so I'm saying all this because life is a journey. And sometimes we feel like, how can I possibly try again? Because I have tried these things, whatever it is, something in your business, something in entrepreneur, something in tech. Like, I don't know if you've ever tried to connect something in tech, it's just not working and it's so annoying. Um, and then you wait a day and you try again, and then all of a sudden it works, and you're just like, hallelujah. That's kind of happening to me. That's been happening to me the last week. Um, or yeah, or like maybe it's to do with like income building or a health situation or just like dating, all these different relationships in our life. And we just think, I've already tried and I don't want to have my heart broken again. I don't have my dreams crushed again. I don't want people to mock me and laugh at me because I failed again, you know. I've tried different multi-level. I'm not selling you anything, by the way, just telling my story. I have tried multi-level marketing. I've never sold anything I didn't like. Um, yeah, I just wasn't that great at the marketing. Um, Unfortunately, or just yeah, I don't know. But I learned so many things along the way. Like in 2018, I think I opened my Instagram account and I thought like, I don't know how to do this. And these people are posting all these social media stories and that looks so good. I don't know how they do it. And I just thought, you know what? I'm just gonna try. Why not? I like taking pictures, so this would probably be a good social media for me. Um, so I did it. And then after like a couple months, I had other women saying like, "Oh, you're so good at Instagram. Like, how do you know how to do all that stuff?" And I'm like, "Oh, does it look like that?" I'm like, "I don't know. I just opened it up and then tried doing things and just clicked on buttons and tried things and posted things, and some of it looked good to me, some of it didn't, some of it got likes, some of it didn't. I just tried. Like, I had this experimental, you know, slightly risk-taking, just try attitude about life. And there have been times where I have thought, like I said before, like, okay, this is going to be the answer to everything. And it wasn't the answer to everything. And that can be really disappointing. And then you just feel like, well, what the F? Like, why? This person sold me something. They sold me the moon. They were so good at it. They said it's going to solve like every problem in my entire life and everything's going to be perfect after. When some people are selling stuff to you, like, that is what they're saying, or it sounds like that's what they're saying. And you're just like, yes, I want it. Do it. Let's do it. And then you do it. And then you're like, on the book. And sometimes that's because, like, I have bought courses before, and then I'm like, "Oh my gosh, I actually have to do the course. That freaking sucks." Um, and those courses where you have to go through it yourself and watch the videos. I was homeschooled, so I sat at my desk a lot doing work by myself. Um, and I don't like, there is something to be learned about that. And yes, as an entrepreneur, I am doing that. But I don't want that to be across the board. Like, I actually need community, and I actually want to be able to ask a question to someone. I want to be able to collaborate and have like group discussions. I'm doing a lot of stuff online right now, which is okay, but I also would like to do more stuff in person. Um, so anyways, I'm just saying there have been times of like great disappointment, and sometimes it was my fault, and sometimes it was, you know, both parties involved. Um, and right now things are quite pickly. Like, if I were to just lay out the facts of everything, you'd be like, "Oh dear." Oh dear, dear, dear. Um, but what I see is happening is when there's like these shit storms or like cataclysmic moments where everything looks like it's falling apart. Um, it's actually an opportunity to, like, I don't like classifying things as like high and low, because I believe that we are all beautiful divine beings, but it's difficult to find vocabulary. So excuse me. But I feel like I'm leveling up somehow, because it could be easy to like spiral and self-destruct and self-sabotage. And I have, in minor ways, in my own special ways, done that before. And the mindset, like how your mind is functioning and your beliefs and the pathways, the patterns that life has created, which we are a part of, and our parents were a part of, and our culture is a part of, and our faith or religion is a part of, um, tell you what's possible and what's not possible. And yeah, so there's a lot of, like I've said in previous videos, there has been, the word spell might freak people out, but there have been spells and like beliefs changing and falling off of me. And part of it is because I'm just like, whoa, like, I cannot spiral around that situation one more time. Like, I'm sick of it. Like, I'm like, what is it? Tony Robbins says, like, if it's acceptable to you, it's going to keep happening. So I'm like telling myself, like, okay, that situation is no longer acceptable. Like, no, I do not. No, it's a no from me. We're not doing it again. um, and I think I saw a meme recently, there's a spiral, but then there's also like this upward spiral. Like, okay, that was a situation. Okay, you like figured it out and you're like, okay, let's not do that exactly the same again. Okay. Like, whoa, it's happening, but okay, not exactly the same as last time. Like, okay, I'm getting better. I've got more tools and resources. Okay, I changed my mindset. Okay, my beliefs are a little bit different. Like, okay, we're we're aligning, we're getting more in tune with the heavenly divine light. Like, okay, we're learning here. So it's still a spiral. That's not a bad thing, that's a good thing. But it's like I envision it like, okay, the spiral is like getting closer to um yeah, I don't know, like more truth and more alignment with life. Capital L, capital I, capital F, capital E, life. um, and so yeah, I just want to say if you are going through a difficult time, I feel you. I just for the sake of not oversharing and I don't know where the boundaries are exactly. I'm not going to say everything that's happening in my life, but it's a very difficult time. Um, I've heard what other people are going through, and in comparison, it does not seem like a very difficult time. But there are things that look like they're hanging by threads that could be very bad if they don't work out. I want you to take a deep breath. I want you to know that you're not alone. We are all humans together. Many of us are experiencing really challenging times right now. And also be encouraged that many people are not experiencing really challenging times right now. There are people that are flourishing in finances, their money is multiplying like bunnies. There are people whose health is really great. They're in better health than they were 5 years ago. There are people that are flourishing in community, having sister or brother nights and wonderful conversations and things going on. Whatever it is that your heart is desiring, that is just like, I don't want to, this needs to change. I need more community. I need more money to be happening. I need my job to change because I just hate it. I, my health needs to improve, or you're worried about people around you. Just, just know sometimes we can be feeling jealous or upset or like, why is it working for them? But for me, I've been turning it into like, thank goodness that I can see that some things are going really well for other people. That gives me hope that, like, yes, it's still happening. Good things are still happening. And if you're going through a challenging time, as I feel I am right now as well, in my specific circumstances, I want you to have like grace and love and empathy for yourself. And also hold on to gratitude like it's a life raft. Gratitude has helped me so much. Whenever I just feel like I want to like stick my head in the dirt or something and just be like, this is ridiculous. How does this work out? This can't, like, how could this possibly work out? I take some deep breaths. Sometimes I have to pace back and forth. Sometimes I have to do some like tapping. Sometimes I feel my heart like changing rhythm and I just like start tapping and breathing and just being like, oxygen into my body. Thank you for life. Thank you for life. I'm alive. I love being alive. Life is good. um and and I think about all the things I have. Like if I were to add up my assets in numbers, it's not that big. But when I look around my room, these are the things I love. I love this piece of artwork that came from was it North or South Carolina? I know the lady who made that. It's beautiful. She sent me this dress as a birthday gift. She didn't know it was my birthday. Spirit told her to send me a dress as a gift. Um, I finally put my artwork on some paper, made it big, used an app, had it mailed to me. I'm working on a weaving. I just love it. I put up Christmas lights. I keep twinkle lights up all year long. This is a painting my mom made many, many years ago for me. These are my essential oils. Getting those labels on there was an act of love and super frustrating, and it took me months to do it, pay for it, and get them shipped to me. Like, sometimes people can do something, there's like bam, 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 and it's like done in 2 days. Sometimes it takes you like 4 freaking months to get something done. You feel like it should just been so easy, but it wasn't for you for whatever reason. But you continued on in the process. What I'm saying is, I feel abundant. I have beautiful things around me, my art, and I'm focusing on the things I have, even though I could tell you a list of things I do not have that I really want. that my heart is saying, you have to go get those. um, okay, so I don't know. This was just an experiment in sharing, and I just want to say sometimes it's difficult to try again, to believe again, to trust again, whatever the situation is. And I hope that you will love yourself enough to invest, to try to have the difficult conversation, and to focus on gratitude, and to just, yeah, I've been using the word life giving a lot. Like, let it be life giving for you. Let, yeah, that's like a whole other thing. But I've noticed that I actually have to allow the goodness to happen. I say, like, I want this, I want this, I want this, I want that goodness. Like, why does that person have that goodness and I don't have that goodness? And then I noticed, like, I'm actually like saying it behind some barriers of mindset and freaked outness and fear. And then when I just go, like, okay, like, I'm freaked out, things are gonna change. It's gonna be outside my comfort zone. It might be awkward. There might be a strange transition, but I want it to flow and I allow it to flow. I allow the life giving abundance of finances, of health, of friendships, of community, of all the things to flow to me. And I'm a Christ follower, and I'm often asked, like, I'm thanking Christ, Jesus, that he is with me. I'm grateful for my guardian angel. I'm grateful for my cloud of witnesses, my ancestors that are with me. And I'm focusing on what I'm grateful for. And I'm saying, yes, I allow the flow to come and bring more abundance into my life. There is a lot of yummy abundance and there's room for more. So when I say, like, yes, I allow it. God is very consensual, spirit, creator, great spirit is very consensual. So if we have a blocking belief or a mindset, or we're actually like, no, 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 you're like, yes, 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 but you're actually like, no, 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 no. Um, Spirit listens to that, and like things are designed that the energy around us listens to that. So we need to find out, like, are we saying no somewhere? Are we blocking something? I had a big breakthrough. I don't know, maybe it was 4 days ago. Yeah, I think it was about 4 days ago. I had a counseling session with a really wonderful lady online, a friend of a friend, friend of a new friend that I met online. And we discovered that something in my childhood, surprise, surprise, um, was saying, don't change because this, and this. And I was like in tears, bawling, snot was involved. Um, it was very deep in my heart that I was afraid of specific change happening because it might be difficult for this child, me, in my memory in the past. And it felt like this past moment that I was thinking of was like, it was actually like 30 years ago, but it felt like it was in the same time zone, but it was 30 years ago. But it felt like, like, cosmically speaking, like it was somehow like it was in the same realm. And I was just like, whoa, that's weird. I didn't know that I was feeling that way about this. And so I'm still processing that, but it's like, yeah, it's an ongoing thing. But it's like I want to make sure that that part of me in my inner child is being loved and reassured, and I need to figure out some other things that she needs, because I want to move forward and I want to allow new things into my life, and I want to swap out some things that are no longer serving life in my life, so that I can go towards these things that my heart desires. My heart is divinely designed. My being, my desires are divinely designed, and they're saying, these are some beautiful, life-giving things that you want for your life, and they're possible, and are you gonna allow them to happen? Okay, that is all. Let me know your thoughts, your questions, what's coming to mind for you. Yeah, and I'm on Instagram, Monique Summerfield, Monique.DivineShift. And I have offerings. I'm not going to go into them right now. But yeah, I'm just curious to like get to know who's watching and to practice sharing in this authentic way. And I hope that this helped you. Much love. Peace.